Here we go. Saturday, January 10th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Los Angeles Rams at the Carolina Panthers. The total is 46.5. Contest includes totals for all games. Simon, it's like a dream come true. We get to talk about the Panthers and Bryce Young in the playoffs. It feels like vindication and validation for us after so many years backing this team. We've been loving them. I'm telling you right now, Chad's Choice, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Los Angeles Rams -10.
Wow.
Boom.
Picking a -10 favorite.
Boom. Shocker. I know. This is crazy. It's against type. It's against the team that I love. I got some logic. Before I get into it, I do want to hear your thoughts on my bet because we haven't talked about it, and it's going against everything we do and everything we've done with this Panthers team.
A little bit. Yeah, it's tough read for me right now. I told you I'm probably waiting before I put a lot of money into this one until I know what the status of Devontae Adams. And it's a type of game where, I get why you're doing it. We both agree the Rams are a much better team, and I obviously have a ton of stats that favor the Rams that we're about to run through here. But yeah, I'm shocked to hear that it's your favorite bet so far over the weekend.
I'm a little bit too. Part of it is it's hard to choose on a Tuesday of playoff week. I'm all of the stats that you're talking about, the advanced analytics, point to this Rams team as being probably the best team in the playoffs based on what they do offensively, what they do defensively, the strength of their schedule, who they beat, how they won. So that's number one. I think that we're getting a little bit of value here because don't forget when these guys played at the end of November 30th, the Rams were 10-point favorites on the road at the Panthers. So what this is saying to me is that everything is power rated the same. And in that window, the Rams have continued to perform really well. The Panthers have been okay. They didn't beat the Bucs. They didn't win the week before. Like they got blown out in a really bad game against the 49ers. So I feel like there's a little bit of value on the Rams. And then we have to take into account, this past weekend, was it a good Bryce Young game or was it a bad Bryce Young game? Because you generally want to go against his most recent performance. And his last game, 24-35, 266, 2 touchdowns in a game they easily could have won in a hurricane on the road, included some classic Bryce Young bombs. So isn't he due for a stinker? Some of my thoughts.
Yeah, I honestly thought we maybe would end up on the Panthers this week. That's why I'm shocked to hear so early in the week you love the Rams this much. But it's a crazy team, this Panthers team, where it's never happened before. Our team has never won a game as a favorite and then made the playoffs that season in the Super Bowl era. This has never happened before. This Panthers team, every game they won this season was as an underdog. They go 8 wins as an underdog, and they never won as a favorite, and they somehow made the playoffs with a losing record and an insanely horrible point differential where they over -69 points point differential. Like it's just insane. This Panthers team to make it. And it's because the division is, like you're saying, it's a weak, bad division. Panthers being power rated at this number, I have it at 8. So once again, like my model does favor the Panthers here, but I think it's because Devontae's out and the numbers have been skewed a little bit where if he was in, I mean, he still led the league in touchdowns with 14 touchdowns. He didn't play for the final 3 weeks, Devontae. So that's going to skew the number a little bit. Like the Rams lost 2 really important games in that stretch, right? And the public really shifted their view of this team. And it's like, yeah, you can't make an excuse for Stafford losing his number one guy, but he lost him in the worst spot. Like him in that Seattle game would have been a difference, right? Him being injured for that game or coming up lame was a big deal. So waiting on Devontae is the big one. But yeah, let's run through all the crazy numbers. I mean, that's the best part of playoffs. You really can focus in and look at all the different trends and the different stats just for these final 6 games. The biggest one for this one is how often has this happened, right? A 10-point home dog in the Panthers. It's historical. This is like the biggest home dog we've had in like 25 years. So it's a really, really weird spot for just the Rams and the fact that, they're now going to be one of the biggest favorites we've seen the wild card round. Wild card round, usually you just blindly bet dogs. If you just taken the dog every year in every game since 2022 or 2020, 2002, you are 61% just blindly betting the dogs in the wild card round. So it's just, you don't overthink it. You kind of want to lean to the dogs in these spots, but it's kind of interesting that the Panthers already beat the Rams. And if you go through historical data, if they played the 12th game or later, and the Panthers, they beat them, was that week 13 or 14.
Yep.
If they're playing the same team again and they're a dog again, the favorite is 7-2 against the spread in that exact spot, covering the spread by 7 points per game. So, there are long-term trends that do favor the Rams. And, I right away I was thinking to myself, what is McVay's stats? Because I give him out all the time, right? McVay,
Yeah.
he dominates late in the season. We talked about that December run. The other thing we've talked about too is him as a big road favorite. He's just been incredible, especially against the spread. A lot of people ask if it's just safer to go money line, obviously, but we're talking spreads here. That's what we do on this show. Straight up, though, McVay is a favorite on the road, 34-10. Not shocking. Spread, though, 26-18 against the spread, which is really impressive. When he's a favorite above 4 points on the road, he is 19-2 straight up in his career. ATS 12-9. Still, though, that straight up number is insane. Like, I know someone like me that's making a couple really big bets, the Rams, I'll be that fish. I'll throw them in a couple of big bets money line wise just to eat some of the juice, because it's crazy how dominant McVay is against really bad teams. And we've talked a little bit about Stafford. He struggled this season against bad teams. If you look at his record, I mean, people know he lost to Atlanta.
He's got a play with his food issue. That is the one thing that is concerning me. Like, they played with their food with Arizona. They played with their food with Tennessee in September, right? And they didn't blow them out until late in the game. They played with their food with the Niners when the Niners were down so many guys, ended up losing that game, and that had an impact on their seeding. There have been moments, stretches, where Stafford and McVay, they sort of disappear for about a quarter. That is a definite concern here.
And I'm going to be hitting you guys with this stat in a couple different games, but I talk about every year. It's an easy money maker for you lazy bettors. Quarterbacks with playoff experience versus quarterbacks without playoff experience. Yep. 20, 39-1 against the spread. So Bryce Young in this spot, if you bet on him, it's a 34% cover rate. It's just a first-time starters against these quarterbacks. Doesn't work out. Even straight up, it's 20-40. So even more so, it's just terrible, terrible odds for these quarterbacks making their first starts. So we're going to go through all the games, obviously, but this goes to Bryce Young against Stafford, Caleb Williams against Jordan Love, and Drake May against Justin Herbert. So just blindly taking those quarterbacks ATS-wise is just a moneymaker. You're getting a 66% win rate in playoff since the Super Bowl era. So it's a crazy stat, but we talk all the time. Experience, it does matter, especially with quarterbacks that have won before in the playoffs.
Any thoughts on the total, 46.5?
Yeah, really love. People are going to see a pattern here. I love the unders this week. We talk all the time. What you're always looking for is playoff outdoors. Like, that's usually get some weather, usually get a little bit of coldness for especially these West Coast teams coming east. They have to get, adjusted to that it's just different playing in 30 degrees rather than temperature control 7 degrees like we all know. And this weekend, all 6 wildcard games are outdoors. Another, if you've just been blindly betting outdoor unders since 2004 in the wildcard games, 49-23. So 68% win rate if you just blindly bet these unders since 2004 outdoors. So, even better if the total is above 41 in those outdoor games, Chad. The under is 42-14 in the wild card.
Jesus.
Yes. So I know there's a bunch of games where I initially was like, oh, I'm going to love these overs. This is one right away where I was like, oh my God, this is below 48. Don't fall for it. Take the under 46.5. You could easily see Bryce Young lay a total egg and this be a 24-7 type of win for this Rams team.
Well, Millman's hoping so. Chad's choice.
I am too, Chad. Honestly, if Devontae Adams gets cleared, I think you might be ahead of it. This could easily jump another point. So I don't hate you. Probably getting the best of the number here. I'm just going to be patient just in case he does get cleared. This drops down to 9.5 or 9.